Buyer beware. This is the focus group.
They're all business, except when they're not. It's the focus group with Tim Bennett and John Nash.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the focus group. Tim Bennett here with my good friend and co-host, Mr. John T. Nash. Thanks for joining us here each week or whenever you download us. John and I were just talking about how we've got so many time shifters. We'll get notes from people asking or questioning or making a comment about a show, and I have to really think back to say, what are you talking about? I have to do that a few times. People have said, you need to do blank. You and John need to do blank. And then it's 4 shows ago. I was like, oh, we're down the road.
Do you write this stuff down? Do you take notes? Like, here's what the listener says?
Well, people send stuff in or send it in through YouTube. I made the comment about, I don't remember which show it was, about how British food was horrible unless you were getting Chinese or Indian food. And then Ruth, one of our listeners, longtime listeners, she just typed, didn't reference anything other than you're eating in the wrong places. I thought, God, well, what does this have to do? So then I typed back and I said, what do you mean? Then she's talked about how she lived in the UK and you can find great food if you know where to look, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of funny. And then the egg cooker has seemed to really have a life of its own, John.
Really?
We
should get sponsor dollars, right?
I don't know. Yeah, we need to. So William out of San Francisco sent a note this past week. I can't believe, he says, I can't believe you and John are just discovering the egg cooker. I've had one since the 70s. Did you know? I just said never knew of it.
I just thought it was a pan of water on the stove. I didn't know there was the gadget that could ever do this. But, I was sucked in by Claiborne Elder / John Adams on the Gilded Age.
So apparently we're way behind on the egg cooker. But, yeah. So I got that. And then I thought about you the other day. So I had back surgery and knee surgery in the last 5 years, which has really knocked me out and gained weight. So they just opened a Planet Fitness down here. So I thought, well, I really can't do too much. I can't run. I can't do anything, but I can go sit on the bike.
The recombinant bike, right?
So I have trouble getting on because I've got the leg that's a problem. But I had all this, so I put my little outfit on, and I'm heading over to Planet Fitness. I said, I'm going to do 45 minutes on the bike, then I'm going to do 30 minutes on the elliptical, then I might do a couple weights,
This is pretty aggressive for the first time you're being in a gym facility. For how long? I mean, okay.
Yeah, 5 years. So in I go. The bike was like something foreign to me. They have all this new equipment with wireless this, and I thought of you. I could ride through the New Zealand countryside. I could go through mountain in Switzerland.
So there's a video screen showing you like you're on. Okay.
Right. And the seat hurt my ass or whatever. So I sit on there and I start going full gun. I thought, probably about a 7 out of a 10 to put it on there for challenge.
For difficulty.
Well, 8 minutes in, I thought I was going to have a stroke. So I had to hit the button down to lower the... I was sweating and wheezing. Sweat was in my eyes. I couldn't see. And I just laughed and thought, well, there goes the elliptical and the weightlifting. let me see if I can get through this half hour on the bike.
Did you make it?
I did. I put on some Pet Shop Boys and some other 80s tunes and pedaled away. But I ended up turning off the program because it was a hill thing and up climbing hills or whatever. I thought, I just need to sit here and move. I'm not ready for the aggressive. Let me do.
You're not doing the Tour de France.
Whole afternoon planned out. It's going to get in shape.
Yeah, I love your plan. I like the idea of going from there to the elliptical. Maybe
I'm going to go do weights,
dumbbells.
Today I'll work on chest and biceps or triceps, and maybe tomorrow I'll do. Yeah,
you're actually right, Tim. It used to be chest and tris, back and bis, legs and shoulders. That's. I used to be so
much
proud
for that.
of myself.
But anyway, I'll go again. At least as Richard said, at least you went.
Yes.
So
yeah, and I just think you could work your way up to level 7. beep 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 7. I can see it now.
It was I don't know if humiliating is the word, but it was. I had trouble with my leg getting it over the bike, which just bothered me. But it's just, I have nerve damage. So there's not much I can do about it.
No.
But anyway, it was crowded. It was an old Bed Bath & Beyond that they converted into a Planet Fitness down here.
Is it on the main drag?
Yep. Yeah.
On 1, was it US 1?
US 1, right next to the Fresh Market.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And there's a restaurant we went to once.
Yeah, Blue Coast right there.
Blue Coast, yeah.
Yeah. So now that's a Planet Fitness now. So.
And it's not that expensive, right?
No, it's $15 a month.
Yeah.
And the other gym I was looking at was $80 a month. And so I thought for $15, I'll go do the bike. I'll go later this afternoon. And I'm trying to go 4 times a week.
Very good.
To start and see what's what. We'll see. Then have a pint of ice cream at night.
That reminds me. One year we were up at the Cape. We had rented a place, Gale Force condos. I think you walked up a little hill called the Gale, and we had these guys from California visiting, and they were going to go from P-Town to the Pines for some big party, and every day they were at the gym. They were starving themselves, and Bob would wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom or something and find them in the kitchen binge eating Cheetos and Doritos.
Are you kidding me?
Like 2 or 3 in the morning, they were shoving chips in their mouth, and it was and they had all the orange stuff from the Cheetos. So, in the morning they'd be, and they also did weird things like they would lay on their side to tan the sides of they would hold their arm up in the air to get the. And we're like, you're doing one time I just said to one of them, I think his name was Jim, I said, what is all this for? Oh, you got to look a certain way at the Pines. You got to be a certain way. I'm like, yeah, you do. You could. I said, but a lot of people don't bother with that. Oh, no, we're going to go to those parties. We got to look a certain way.
Circuit party, boom, boom, boom.
Uh-huh, yeah.
There was a woman we used to travel with that was a huge lecturer. She always lectured everybody on their food. At every meal, tell you what you're eating wrong, how you're doing it wrong. And the comrade, as you know, she'd about had it up to her neck with being reprimanded
comments
about what we were eating,
yeah.
right? So we could, because we were in charge of the trip, we pulled her room bill, pulled her room charges. And Chris slaps it down. Chris at breakfast goes, "Oh, look what I found." She slaps it down. Every night this woman was ordering a macadamia pie to the room about midnight. She was ordering some sort of fudgy brownie thing, milkshakes, all this shit would go to her room at midnight. And so, of course,
That's
I
like
couldn't.
That's like you and I
She
ordering
started-
a pecan pie every day,
Yeah.
right?
So she starts in again with us, and I said, because I couldn't handle it, and I said, "Oh, look what's on the menu here. They have a macadamia pie. I wonder if that's any good. Has anyone had the macadamia pie?" And she's just sitting there. I know she had about 4 of them in her room. She didn't bite on the macadamia pie, but then she never said a thing again. She must have known that we were on to her. But yeah, I used to love the people that would lecture.
Game.
Yeah. Lecture you about what you should do, and then you're right that they're gorging themselves on candies or whatever they're doing. But I went to the store the other day. I am so mad. I said I don't want to go to the store again. I know the whole world's talking about affordability right now.
Oh.
But just getting the essentials that I used to, again, I would say I would spend between $70 and $80. It was $134.
$4.
Which used to be about
same.
$80. Things have gone up $3 or $4 an item in some things. There was some sort of cream that Richard likes for his coffee. I won't buy it anymore. He's mad at me. I won't buy he likes Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I won't buy that either.
Yeah.
It's close to $30 for the can of it. I think it's crazy.
Bob mentioned it when he was doing Thanksgiving shopping. He said, this has to be the most expensive Thanksgiving we've ever done. And he's not lying. I mean, we got up here to do grocery shopping. I'm finding there are things I can now get at Aldi.
Yep.
They have some great chicken cutlets.
Good produce.
Organic. Yeah, and stuff that I can freeze, like chicken. Yeah. I'll buy a bunch of it, and now I'm just going to throw it in the freezer because I don't have to go and spend $2 or $3 more per item if you can get away with it. Yeah, no, and here's the thing that surprises me the most. the Republicans can scream all they want about how inflation's slowing down and everything. And I don't know where that $2 gas is. You and I keep laughing about that.
No, I haven't found it yet.
But are they that tone deaf? Do they not go to the grocery store and shop for things? I mean,
Yeah.
this is going to be his unraveling in the midterms if it doesn't. And he can't control this. He's already screwed it up with the tariffs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hope so. If we're not in some sort of crazy war with Venezuela or whatever the hell he's trying to do now.
Another whole thing. And where's Congress in all this? Like, they're a co-equal branch. They're supposed to have a say, but I guess not, right?
Did you see Grassley out of Iowa, the senator from Iowa, who's 92 years old, is running for re-election?
Again?
Yeah, so he's announced he's going to run for re-election.
That's a 6-year term.
Yeah.
He'll be 98 if he survives. Now, I don't
But
hate
even Nancy
him,
Pelosi in her mid-80s or whatever, there should be some sort of, I believe, there should be term limits anyway. I think you should only be able to serve once or twice, because that way you're not beholden to anybody. You don't owe anybody anything. You're not.
Correct.
That way you're doing and you're voting for what's best for your constituents, not what's best for yourself to save your job. I don't know why we don't have term limits, but yeah.
Good
what
question,
do I know?
Right?
Yeah. So that's about it, John. Are you doing you don't have a big Christmas list, do you?
No.
Holiday shopping.
Sadly, it gets shorter every year. We don't have kids to buy for. So it's just going to be getting together with people and having some nice meals, I think, which is
meals.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be good. So, Mr. Nash, without further ado, what caught your eye this week?
What caught your eye? Here's what Tim and John found.
What caught my eye this week is something that I thought was kind of cute. I came across it in a magazine, and it's about a 14-year-old New York City boy who won a $25,000 Junior Innovators Challenge prize for origami. And specifically,
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So the boy's name is Miles Wu. He's 14. So there's a form of origami, a pattern and a fold called Miura Ori. It's Miura-ORI, Miura Ori. And the unique thing about it is that it's a pattern that can hold across various benchmarks. And what that means is it's a very, very, if it's folded a certain way, this is a pattern that can hold 10,000 times its own weight. So this young boy has fallen in love with origami. He's been doing it for many years. He started out doing animals. You could buy a book and get the paper and do all that. But slowly but surely, he evolved his hobby into wondering what would happen if he could create something that was practical. So he won this thing called the Thermo Fisher Scientific Junior Innovators Challenge in October. And what he wanted to do was create a new way of folding things so they could do a couple things. So here's what he came up with. He got the idea of doing this while learning about natural disasters like the wildfires in Southern California or Hurricane Helene. And he said he studied how people use origami in STEM disciplines, including the medical field. And then he said to himself, this is a young boy saying this, a problem with current deployable structures, tents, etc., and emergency structures is, for example, tents are sometimes strong, sometimes they can compact really small, and sometimes they're easily deployable, but almost never are they all three. But Miura Ori, this type of origami folding, could potentially solve that problem. So he worked on this, and he came up with a certain kind of a way of folding this. He tested 54 variations and underwent 108 trials with weight, the whole bit.
Wow.
By the end of the trials, his hypothesis was partially correct. While small and less acutely angled panels showed a better strength-to-weight ratio, Wu found that copy paper, not heavier materials, had the strongest strength-to-weight ratio. So he said the final statistic I got about the strongest Miura Ori that I tested was that it could hold over 10,000 times its own weight. I calculated that to be the equivalent of a New York City taxi cab holding over 4,000 elephants. So the practical application of this is that tents, shelters, deployable things that usually have to be compact and strong could be made even better and more durable. From a 14-year-old boy who likes origami. That's what caught my eye. I just thought it was a cute thing.
That's such a John story, too.
Yes.
Have you ever done origami?
No. And actually, after reading this, I thought this is a really simple thing to get into. You buy a book and some paper and sit
Some
for an
paper
afternoon
and fold
making.
and go.
Yeah.
Have a cocktail,
I mean, he
you'd
went
be
a
all
step
set.
further. You what?
Well, I said you have a cocktail, you'd be all set sitting there folding paper. I
No,
could
that's
do a
Bob
blow-up
doing
box.
Christmas.
Yeah. My story
Yours
couldn't
is
be any different.
interesting, by the way.
Yeah, so this came from Realtor.com, and I stumbled over it. The headline is San Francisco couple accidentally buys $25,000 dirt alley at auction after mistaking the lot for $1 million bargain home.
Tim, you sent me the picture and you sent the headline, and I'm just like, they buy an alley. Now, so if you're watching on YouTube, Tim sends a picture that shows a house, and then to the left of the house is this dirt alley, I guess.
Alley,
and that's what someone bought?
Well, it's actually a fire lane, but it's between two houses. And as you know, San Francisco real estate is very valuable and quite expensive. And so this married couple, they say they're the accidental owners of an unpaved alleyway after putting the bid in for what they thought was a bargain property auction, only to discover that they had bought a rundown side street next to the home that they believe they had purchased. So J.J. Hollingworth, and I can't even pronounce her name, his wife, were overjoyed when they received a letter from the local tax collector informing them that the property at 1926 Kirkham Street would be auctioned off for as little as $1. So somebody owned this lot, and they stopped paying taxes on it. So the city takes these things over, and then they sell them. And what they didn't read and what they didn't pay attention to was the fact that in all of these letters, so there were 47 properties that went to auction. And so the city treasurer that runs this says that all the lots are rendered unusable because of their size, their location, and other conditions. So you can't build on them. You can't do anything with them. Some people, if there's something next to them, they might make a garden or they might do something with them. But these are not lots that are
They're
usable.
not building lots.
Not building lots. So this couple gets the letter that this lot is going up, and the bid, it starts at $1 is the bid. So they get final notice that this lot is going to be going to auction, and they decide we're going to buy this. So they misread the address, I guess. And we really want to get this, so we're going to put a bid in for $25,000. And they put $8,000 for transfer tax. So they get this letter saying, congratulations, you won. So they think now that they bought this $1 million 2-flat property house, which has tenants in it, valued over $1 million. So they start celebrating, telling all their friends that they won this house for $25,000, had a party, had people over, had the balls, they said, humiliatingly, went over to the tenants in the other house and said, we're your new landlords now. We just bought the property, and we're not gonna raise your taxes, or we're not gonna raise your rent, but there's a new sheriff in town, essentially. So a couple of days later, they get a check back in the mail for $8,000 that there was no transfer fee or whatever, and they were confused. So then they read a little closer, and it says, as it turns out, the couple realized they had not purchased the house that sits on 1926 Kirkham. They instead bought an 83-foot long dirt lot that's 7 feet wide, unpaved, and it runs between the property and their home. Upon reading the tax collector's letter more closely, Hollingsworth and her husband realized they'd missed several key pieces of information. Namely, that the auction said that the memo said that this auction is for sale for plots of land that are deemed unusable. And so they said their horror soon mixed with emotion. They've contacted the city asking for their money back.
Uh-oh.
The city says no.
I agree.
He says, we were devastated. We've already celebrated. We told our friends. We introduced ourselves as the new landlords. And they said, to add insult to injury, they overpaid so much money. They said 4 of the lots, similar to theirs, went for $1. People bought them for $1.
No.
Some of the plots went for $10. The average price of the 47 was $435. They paid $25,000.
Oh my God.
So they're claiming they're gonna sue the city.
I don't see that they have a case. Do you?
They didn't read. Buyer beware, right?
Buyer. Yep.
So the Amanda Freed, who's the chief of policy and communications at the Office of the Treasurer and Tax Collector, says kind of too bad.
Yeah.
It was well noticed. You were sent written notices. You had plenty of time. All bidders had plenty of time to ask questions, and the city's not going to assume responsibility for you not reading, what the property was. So they said in the meantime they've renamed the street Hollingsworth Alley, but they said that the city better be prepared. They're going to pick a fight, and that they don't want to lose out on this, and they're going to try to get their money back. But I don't think the city's going to give. They said the city's only at one time. They said there's been only one case where the city has given money back from one of these auctions. It didn't say what the case was. But here they just simply said you didn't read. Did you really think you were getting $1 million+ home for $1? So,
Tim, what would be our caveat emptor? Buyer beware.
Yeah, buyer beware.
Right? But also, it's just a perfect example of, wouldn't you read the fine print?
Yeah, and they said this went on for a few months. So the city initially said this is going up for auction. They ignored it, and they got the final notice because the city does this, as you know, you alert all the neighbors. This piece of property is going up for auction. So they said that night they hurried up and got a cashier's check for $25,000 because no one else was talking about this, and they were going to buy this house. And
they thought they were tapping into something. So greed, right? They thought that they were the only ones on the block that had the information.
Yeah, they were going to get this house. And so they said they wanted to make the bid strong enough so that they won. So even though it started at $1,
against them would be like, "Boy, you're fucking crazy. You want an alley for $25,000? Go ahead."
They said the fire departments used it for fire trucks now and then, but 83 foot long, 7 foot wide, and you saw the picture of it. It's hilarious.
Yep.
So, what do you do with it? Nothing. Someone said plant a garden. They said no, and then they thought they would charge people to use it as a walkthrough, and then they said that might create ill will in the neighborhood, so they weren't going to do that. But yeah.
Tim, that beats origami. I love little kids that win prizes. But this is human nature, full on display, right?
Well, the fact that they have the balls to say we're going to sue the city because the city won't give them their money back.
That's the best. Yeah.
So it's like, go ahead, figure it out. So, hey, as many of you know, Deep Discount's been a partner of ours here on the Focus Group for quite some time, and we appreciate your support of them and their support of us. And right now there's Black Friday and Cyber Week going on, and there's tens of thousands of items on sale in every category, not just the movies and TV, but all kinds of categories as John and I picked things out over the last few weeks. So, Mr. Nash, what did you find this week?
I had an original thought, and then Bob, the day after Thanksgiving, what does he pop in the player? But he pops in Holiday Inn, which is a famous Christmas movie I had never really seen it until I started seeing Bob, but this is Irving Berlin's musical trip through the calendar, and it features the Oscar-winning film debut of White Christmas. Now, White Christmas shows up in another movie with Bing Crosby, but Holiday Inn is, in my opinion, the one you want. It's in black and white. It's Fred Astaire, Bing Crosby, Marjorie Reynolds, a lot of great character actors in here. And basically, Bing Crosby opens up an inn, and he puts on these amazingly extravagant shows. Bob and I always wonder, the inside of the inn must be the size of Radio City Music Hall or something.
With a full 100-piece orchestra, right?
Yeah, with the orchestra, with the dancers. So he's got, some of the stuff is Happy Holidays, in Easter Parade, Song of Freedom. That's one for July 4th. And there's all these MacArthur images come up because it's during World War II. But I would highly recommend, if you don't have this for your holiday collection, Holiday Inn on DVD. It's only $9.56, and there are some great little featurettes on it too. Some of the additional content they give you. One of them is just this whole idea of musicals in general and how popular Fred Astaire was and Bing Crosby. But Fred Astaire, man, this one extra they have on Holiday Inn, they have this whole thing about how he constructed his dances and how precise he was. And watching him in tails and a top, and a top hat. And Bob and I sit there and like, this used to be the entertainment for most Americans, right? Like this was big thing. Amazing, amazing skills. And now we see this same kind of stuff pop up in a Taylor Swift video or some of the newer music stuff. But just, so Holiday Inn, $9.56.
Yeah, it's a shame it's a shame they don't do movies like that anymore, really, musicals that extravagant, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there controversy around Abraham, the song Abraham, because there's blackface in it? I wonder if were they going to take it out of some...
On the broadcast, whenever they broadcast it, that disappears. But if you get the DVD, in order to disguise the woman that Bing Crosby's dancing with, because Fred Astaire wants to grab her and use her as his dancing partner, he comes in before the Lincoln thing and says, hey, we're going to do the show in blackface. And the whole orchestra's in blackface, and it's shocking. And then you're like, wait a minute, this is what they did back then. This is actually what they did. And yes, it's not the coolest thing in the world, but it's actually an interesting look at how it used to be.
It's historical.
Good call.
I picked something called Vintage Holiday Extravaganza.
I love this.
And it's rare short subjects and commercials on DVDs. So I always say if you're having a holiday party, you've got the TV in your house and it's not on, I always put these things on and put the sound down. But they say this is a potpourri of Christmas-themed television and industrial short subjects and perfect fare for the holiday season, guaranteed to evoke nostalgia for a simpler time. I guess we could say make America great again. They said, for example, there's visits of average post-World War II families at the Yuletide, Christmas around the world, and how people celebrate Christ around the world in different countries and cultures. But wait, there's more. Perhaps most fascinating are the Hollywood-produced clips in which major stars such as Cary Grant, Bette Davis, and Gary Cooper and Shirley Temple try to get you to spread holiday cheer by purchasing war bonds and Christmas seals. And then there's bonus material includes Our Gang in a short called Good Cheer and a collection of TV and toy commercials from the 50s and 60s, two of which feature Patty Duke. So this offbeat holiday compilation can be yours at deep discount for under $12 on DVD.
This looks like a fun thing to run at a party. And as you said something about the TV, sometimes our apartment, we don't have a fireplace in the city. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll turn YouTube on and I'll do a search for Yule log, the fire burning. My favorite is the Star Wars Yule log. They took this clip of Darth Vader being burned on a pyre because it's the end of he's dead, Luke is... and whenever we have people over, they stare at it for a while. And then one of my family was like, what is this? I said, oh, that's Darth Vader being burned on a funeral pyre. Anyway, the Darth Vader Yule log, there you go.
Listen, at Pluto, there's a whole bunch of fireplaces. No. So you check Pluto out, too. There's a whole area of crackling fireplaces.
Great crackling fire.
Crackling fire, yeah.
All right, now we do have a new release this week, and this has got Tim and my number all over it, and it's called The Complete Lucille Ball Specials. It's on DVD for $28.99, and it's basically, she did a bunch of specials, right?
Yep.
So this has got Dean Martin, Art Carney, Desi Arnaz, that's a surprise for me, Carol Burnett, John Wayne, Dick Van Dyke, Vivian Vance, and Joseph Bologna. I mean, so the description is very brief. It says, following the long-running success of I Love Lucy, The Lucy Show, and Here's Lucy, Lucille Ball starred in a series of special programs pairing her with other legendary performers, and that's where they leave it at. But the pairings that I mentioned was Dean Martin, Art Carney, the whole thing. So this looks great. I love the cover. It's got her in it's a stylized drawing of her with that flame red hair, and it just says Lucille Ball Special. So available for $28.99 at deep discount. And we're big fans of I Love Lucy, so we're urging you to do that. So just as a recap, it's the Black Friday, Cyber Week sale, but everything's always on sale at deep discount. This is a great place to start your holiday shopping. In fact, they have a couple of coupons going on, 15% off if you spend some money, etc. I picked a movie that I think everybody should have in their holiday collection, $9.56 on DVD, Holiday Inn, Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, Marjorie Reynolds, and the list goes on. Tim picked a very interesting one to me called Vintage Holiday Extravaganza, Rare Short Subjects and Commercials. Shirley Temple, Cary Grant, Myrna Loy, Gary Cooper, Betty Davis. Could you imagine her on a Christmas short? DVD 11. You are going to get a gift.
Get
DVD.
your war bonds now.
Yeah, that's better, Betty. 11.19. And the complete Lucille Ball specials just released, $28.99 on DVD. You can get it now and pre-order it. Actually, it just arrived today. So there you go. We want to thank Deep Discount for being a partner of ours here on the show. Go to our site, focusgroupradio.com, click on the Deep Discount logo, and start your shopping experience. We are going to take a very short break, and when we get back, we have a business birthday and a shop talk about roles that might be good for living in an AI world, although when we get there, you'll see why I'm kind of grimacing if you're watching YouTube. So stay with us.
You're listening to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com. Now back to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Available pretty much everywhere.
John, I've taken allergy pills and all this other stuff, and I don't know why my nose, I've done the Flonase up my nose, all this. I'm still have a runny nose. I don't know
I
what
wake
it
up
is.
with a bit of a stuffy nose, but it's because of the indoor pollen and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you using the Alavert stuff?
The Alavert, yeah, well, whatever it's called.
That's
Aller
Flonase
Flow.
in disguise, yeah.
Yeah, from the Kirkland. And and also a allergy pill, although I don't think the new allergy pills are as good as the old ones. I'll just say that. I'll have to check. But anyway, yeah. So our business birthday this week, Mr. Nash. Let's...
Everyone does celebrity birthday greetings, but the Focus Group is the only show in the universe that celebrates business birthdays.
I was not aware of him. You may have been. I checked our file because we've been doing business birthdays for 12 years or more, I think. I forget how many years we've been doing them. Quite some time. And we haven't covered this guy, Craig Alexander Newmark. He was born December 6th, 1952, 73 this coming Saturday, or if you listen to the audio today. Craig Alexander Newmark is Newmark is an American internet entrepreneur, philanthropist, best known as the founder of Craigslist. So did you know him at all?
No, but we certainly knew Craigslist, huh?
Yeah. So they said he was, before founding Craigslist, he worked as a computer programmer for IBM, Bank of America, and Charles Schwab. He was born in Morristown, New Jersey. He, as a child, he really liked science fiction and comic books and wanted to become a paleontologist. And but that didn't happen. He became interested in physics in high school, and they said he used to walk around wearing taped together black-rimmed glasses and a pocket protector.
Well, perfect, right?
They said at school he was described as nerd patient zero. So he's possible nerd patient zero. He sang in school choir, was a member of the physics club, was part of the debate team. Graduated with honors and went off to Case Western Reserve University, where he studied computer science. And so after college, he went out and worked at Bank of America, Sun Microsystems, and he ended up at IBM for 17 years and worked in a number of different offices. In 1993, he moved to San Francisco and started a job with Charles Schwab. And while he was there, a coworker introduced him to something called the World Wide Web. Do you remember the World Wide Web?
I remember that Today Show clip where like the World Wide, the Internet,
Wide Web.
the World Wide
Internet.
Web.
So 2 years later, he was very fascinated and interested in the World Wide Web, and he said it was relatively free of commercials at the time. And but what he did is while he was living in San Francisco, he started emailing a list of upcoming events to a few friends who wanted to try to cultivate a bit of community online. And so as he would send out these emails to friends or these events and notices, other people asked to be included on the list. And as members grew, so did the kinds of information on the list. So he launched Craigslist.org in 1996, where people could exchange information, mostly without charge. So it started out as a newsletter. He operated it as a hobby while continuing to work as a software engineer until 1999, when he decided to quit and incorporated Craigslist as a private for-profit company. And so then he ran it, and I was trying to figure out how he made money on Craigslist.
Was it advertising?
So they said he made money by charging fees only for certain paid posts in specific categories and locations. And but the vast majority of his listings for free, but most of his money came from paid job listings across the U.S., fees for apartment rentals in New York City specifically, and postings for dealerships, ticket brokers, and therapeutic services. And so he worked in this and decided in 2000 to step away and handed the role to a guy named Jim Buckmaster. Although Newmark is still involved, to this day, this says he still continues to handle customer service inquiries and deals with spammers and scammers. And he opened up something, or he started something called the Craig Newmark Philanthropies. He made the decision that he was going to give all his money away. So he's worth, they estimated about $1.3 billion. Can you imagine?
Wow. Okay.
And so he's given most of his money to charities that gives to organizations involved with veterans, military families, trustworthy journalism, cybersecurity, civic engagement, voter protection, democracy initiatives, food insecurity, pigeon rescue. That was an odd one, I thought. And women in technology.
Okay.
So he's donated hundreds of millions of dollars. He's very, very involved, and the list goes on and on of what he's donated to. It was amazing to me of what he's done, and they said that there was something here I thought was funny at the end of his bio, is that he got married in 2012 and to a woman named Eileen Whelpley, and they enjoy birding together. Maybe this is where the pigeons come in. But they said whenever he travels or does anything, he doesn't own a car. He only uses public transportation, lives in New York City, flies commercial, and is just somewhat invisible, wandering around as this billionaire in New York City giving away lots of money. So good for him. So happy 73rd.
So do you remember Craigslist at all? Did you ever use it?
I still go to it, yeah. I still use it for stuff. I've used it for pets.
Yeah.
I used it at one time, many years ago, looking for, it used to, I don't know anymore, I haven't checked it, but it used to have pretty good job listings for local stuff and apartments. And then for a long time, they had an area of, was it like missed connections or I saw you? I forget the exact name of it. But then they got in trouble because they thought that weren't or sex for hire ads were on there, I guess.
Well, a lot of people know
nicely.
Craigslist because they had a whole specific area where you could try to hook up with people.
Right.
It was sort of was a precursor to the apps like Grindr or Scruff, I suppose. I always, whenever I heard stories about people meeting on Craigslist, it sounded a bit dicey to me. You know, like, I guess it's always dicey, but, you know, I just thought, you met on, because I've bought athletic equipment that way, like I've listed stuff to sell there.
Right.
But the idea of meeting someone just didn't really, but yes, there was some trouble on that front because apparently some crime was committed that people were lured into certain things. et cetera, as Yul Brynner
Well, they got
used to
rid of
say.
that. They got rid of that now, right? Or they had an area where you can get massage or something. I forget.
I think
that's
that's
what they
been
said
shut
here in
down.
quotes,
Yeah.
therapeutics.
Yeah.
But now it seems mostly pets, or as you said, it's you can do apartments or rentals and vacation places and whatever. I've not looked at it. Well, actually, last month I went and I looked at it under pets, and just to see, because we were thinking about getting a dog again. But
Are you really?
yeah, you're thinking about it, but
Careful of the breed you choose.
Yeah. Well, the National Dog Show was on, so we were watching that, and we were just getting a hoot out of it, and watched that over Thanksgiving. So,
Like I happen to love Frenchies.
number one dog, by the way, for the first time. I don't know if you saw. Did you watch the National Dog Show? So
No.
Frenchies have, for the first time, taken over as the most popular breed. It has been the Labrador Retriever for 31 years.
Yeah,
or something.
or a golden retriever used to be really big too, right?
Yeah. So now it's now the Frenchies.
So they have, they can be problematic. They have a lot of skin allergies and they have some issues. I mean, they're such,
Breathing. Yeah.
some do, not all, but they are totally, totally hilarious, and they cling to you, and they're fun, they're smart.
They're clownish. Yeah.
They're clownish, but I've seen tons of Instagram videos of rescued animals or staffies. I like staffy mixed with pit bull, and I think the pit bull gets a bad reputation because some of the stuff the ones I've met have been like mush, the little sweet dogs, right? Well, they're not little, but they're
Well, the dog on The Little Rascals was a pit bull.
really
Petey
Petey.
the dog. Yeah, that was a. But no, it's a shame what's happened to that breed. People have ruined that breed and used them for dog fighting.
Yes, because I think by their nature they're extremely funny and warm, and so you could, you'll have to see how that goes. But Bob and I talk about it a lot, like whether it's a cat or a dog. It's fun to have a pet. It's an animal. They're alive. They interact with you. I just love it.
Well, Spike, when Spike died, he died in January, and so, but he was a big part of the day. I mean, we'll come into the house, and I'll expect him to come, because you're so used to him being there, running or letting him out, and it was a long time before I realized he just wasn't around anymore. But he was such a character and such a big part of
he was
big part of what was going on in the house. So. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get one or not. We were looking at a rescue. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. I don't know if you've seen what it costs. When I got Spike and Trixie, I think they were $40.
Yeah.
For everything.
Now it's like a couple hundred, right?
$500, $400. But I thought the shelters were full.
They are.
$400, $500 for a rescue and for an adult dog, I think is a lot of money. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what we find. So as that sidebar, John had found this article. It's a short one. It said, "Is AI a career killer? Not if you have these skills." This is according to McKinsey, which has done some research. They said they did a survey was done by McKinsey, which examines the impact of AI on the workforce. The adoption of AI is causing both workforce increases and decreases, is what they found. But the part John and I are both scratching our heads about, I think, is that they listed that there will be an increase, or there will be some hiring and some jobs that will be in high demand because of the rise of AI. But when they listed what they were to me, it seemed like a little bit like a word salad. I didn't quite understand what the jobs were, but maybe you had a better grasp of it than me.
So I had read this article, and I thought they were going to give, because the headline was, is AI a career killer? Not if you have these skills. And the skills they literally just went down to this. Data scientists and data engineers are in high demand due to the rise of AI. So that eliminates a whole swath of the population, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know any data scientists or data engineers? I don't.
Well, I thought, is it like a research person that we know? But no, right? It's like our friend Mary Alicia. Would she be considered a data scientist?
Well, that's a great question, because she knows how to frame data as a research person, right?
Right. She and Steve and Chris. And
mm-hmm. So this article came out on the heels of another study that was recently put out, and it was like Thursday. Well, it was right before Thanksgiving, that a lot of major banks and research firms feel that in the next 3 years, give or take, 17% of the jobs now currently held by Americans will be eliminated by AI. That's a pretty big number. If you multiply the workforce by that number, it's a lot of people not working or being put out of work.
Right.
And they specifically nailed the areas of customer service, assistance, some medical stuff, like all the low-hanging fruit of things that could be done now by talking to an AI bot, even though it's not always perfect. But then when I saw this article, I thought, wow, okay, there must be some great stuff in here, but didn't talk about anything other than you have to be a data scientist. And I would say, if you're on the fence about AI or you haven't played around with it, a lot of the chatbots are free. You could do ChatGPT, you could do Gemini from Google, Claude.ai is for writers. Just start experimenting.
Have you tried Perplexity? Have you tried that?
Yeah, my sister's husband, Steve, swears by Perplexity, and I've used it. Have you used it?
No. I saw an ad for it, but I guess they're all somewhat similar.
They're large language learning models, and I think what I have found is that a lot of people are now using AI as their default web search. They don't even search. It's replacing Google. Now you could now you can go on and type a question in and get a direct answer. I'll say this: I've done some experimentation with it in some work, and it's Tim. I said this before. It reminds me of the Magic 8-Ball.
Yeah.
Hey, I need a mailing address for somebody, and you roll up the ball and it says "ask again later."
Yeah.
I've done that where I asked for some physical mailing addresses, and it came back with an address, and then I went online to look at the address, and it was like something that was years old. So I'm like, where did that come from? And so I don't want to say you take all this with a grain of salt because...
garbage in, garbage out, right?
I guess I'm saying take it all with a grain of salt. I'm just wondering how people are putting it into their workflows. Do we really trust the output that much? That, you know what I mean?
Well, that's where it talked here about jobs that they thought would be either eliminated or replaced with AI.
Yep.
So with artificial intelligence. And they mentioned claims adjusters, digital marketers, and wealth managers. I'm not sure about digital marketers, but I thought a claims adjuster, if I had a catastrophic event in my house or insurance, or a wealth manager about investing your money or retirement, I want to talk to a real person.
Yeah.
I mean, would you... I couldn't figure out how a claims adjuster, unless you would just simply say, I had something happened in my yard, I need to file a claim. I don't know. Wouldn't you think you would still have to have a conversation with a real person?
Well, the tricky thing about that particular paragraph is it was worded in a funny way because it says here, across positions like claims adjusters, digital marketers, and wealth managers, we are seeing increasing demand for AI skills. Typically, this is about incorporating AI into existing roles or workflows. So you're still dealing with a human, but I think if you're going into banking or into financial management, now you got to be able to use AI to do your planning. And the thing that puzzles me there is all the big banks. If you looked at TD Bank, Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, they all have big research departments that specifically work to make sure they're on top of trends and stuff like that. I guess that's what they're talking about, that AI is going to somehow... But again, I go back to this, do you really, truly... Unless the free versions, you're not getting the best answers or something. I don't mean to be a Luddite because I think a lot of this stuff is kind of cool, but... yeah, you get a wrong address. You're like, hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be AI. Like, where's the... Well, maybe I'm holding it to too high a standard. But
no, but I think you're onto something there because then does it become an issue, which everybody bitches about now, with the cost of a cell phone or streaming services, or how many different AI models are you going to pay for, right?
Yeah.
So...
And if you choose to pay for one, are you paying for the best one? Because they supersede each other.
Right.
I think Mark Benioff, who's the CEO of Salesforce out in San Francisco, he came out in favor of Gemini 3, which is Google's newest version of their AI. And he actually said, he goes, I use ChatGPT every day, but I've been using Google's Gemini 3, and now I'm never going back to ChatGPT. So what about, so it's not like they're giving the same answer, I guess. I guess he likes the answers he's getting from Gemini more than ChatGPT, which I just puzzled about, but that's,
Well, you and I have tried it where we've asked the same question of 3 or 4 of them, and the different information does come back.
Mm-hmm. Different information. And Tim, it's even to the point where Tim will use the exact same prompt that I used on his computer. We'll both be in ChatGPT. It will give him a different answer and give me a different answer. I don't know. Maybe if we put in, Tim, like compute the value of pi, 3.14, whatever the number is, we'll probably get the same answer. Or if you put in like what is freezing in Fahrenheit, would say 32. Okay, so but when it goes to language stuff, like Tim will say, please draft a pitch letter, and it comes and I'll say the same exact thing, and it comes with a slightly different tone, different use of language, which tells me what it facilitates your work, but you got to do the work. Like, so Tim and I have done this thing where we've used ChatGPT, for example. We have to cut and paste what the answers are. We put them in a document, and just like we were in high school or earlier, we have to edit it by hand, and we have to.
Yeah, it needs to be edited. Yeah.
And we have to work with it. Like, so, I don't know. I know I have friends who claim they use it every single day on their jobs, and I'm like, really? And again,
Wow.
I'm not a Luddite. I'm a tech guy, but I'm like, really, you really do? Okay, I'm curious. Do you think the enterprise models are different? The ones that the companies pay a lot of money for?
I don't know, and
I love your like.
No, well, we've talked to a friend that works for a major ad agency. You and I saw over the summer, and they're doubling down. They're going to build their own. Remember, they were going to have their own, and I thought, why reinvent the wheel? But yeah, that's going to be. I think that's going to be the challenge. Is there's going to be so many out there, and then you're going to say, okay, which one? Unless it's like, use this one for this particular thing, or this one for this particular. This one's great for marketing. This one's great for writing something, or this one's great for science. I don't know. We'll see. See what happens. I don't know, though. I don't think I could be one of these. I'm with you about this. Well, data scientist, data engineer, machine learning engineer.
You and I are like, okay, it's a specific field. I don't know anything about it.
Data
I won't
architect.
even venture a guess as to the type of training you have to have or education for that. But we'll keep you informed, folks, on AI moving forward. I know it's not
Harvard is scrambling right now to get these majors on board.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And I know
if
that
you're a school with these resources, right, you would list these things as your new majors. Come in.
You would indeed, because you would want to attract new students for that. I know it's not a magic 8 ball. It's doing good stuff, interesting stuff, but still. Anyway. Well, we're going to wrap it up there, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, Tim, Tim ask. I'm going to ask it a question. Yeah.
Is AI? What should I ask about AI? Is AI going to survive? Is that what I should? Is AI going to survive? Let's see what it says. Come on. It says yes.
Ask it again and do the flip.
Is AI going to survive? Let's see. It says, cannot predict right now.
My point's been proven by Tim.
Right. 2 different answers, same question.
Same question. All right. Thanks for joining us, folks. We want to remind you that Deep Discount is a partner of ours here on the Focus Group. They have a Black Friday Cyber Week sale going on. Everything's usually on sale anyway, and we encourage you to go check it out by going to our site, focusgroupradio.com, and click on the Deep Discount logo. I picked a movie called Holiday Inn. It's a classic black and white movie starring Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, and Marjorie Reynolds. That's $9.56. Tim picked Vintage Holiday Extravaganza, Rare Short Subjects in Commercials. Shirley Temple, Cary Grant, Myrna Loy, Gary Cooper, Betty Davis. They're all doing these little holiday things. That's only $11.19. Seems like you want to get that and put it on your TV for a holiday party. And the new release this week is the complete Lucille Ball specials. So she did all these specials after her shows with people like Dean Martin, Art Carney, Desi Arnaz, Carol Burnett, John Wayne, Dick Van Dyke, etc. So there we go. Thanks to Deep Discount. Everybody, it's driving time, holiday time. Please don't text and drive Arrival Live. We want to have you here next week when we come back with the focus group. So take care.
It's The Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. Accessible on all platforms. Subscribe, like, and rate us on your platform of choice. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com.
That was a stunning focus group.